Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Today is June the 11th. It's Wednesday today. This morning, we do have a major news event, CPI. That's basically what the market has been waiting for the past few days. So we have CPI that is going to come out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll kind of mark up the levels coming into today, and then we'll wait for that CPI news release that's going to happen in about 30 minutes, and then we'll develop our game plan from there. Before we do that, what's up? Good morning. Good morning, B Roots. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Non. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. Sorry. What's up, Robert? Good morning, Katrina Hartig. What's up, Mozzie? Wilbert KOQ. Good morning, JT, Wayne, Ryan, Melissa, Ricardo. Yesterday you called Tesla, played out nice. Glad you're able to capture that. Hartig, Sean, Martin, Audrey, Shell. What's up, Monty? Miss Reggie, Juan, Darth, Mila. What's up, Andreas, Ashley, Robert, Ray, Jorge, iHub, Kels, Quitta. What's up, Kay? Good morning. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Let's start off on the major indices, and then we will go on to the tech names. Thanks for reminding me, Andreas. Okay. Let's go on to the ES and NQ, and then we'll head over to the tech names. So coming into today here for the ES and NQ, you can see we're slowly building higher. As I mentioned yesterday, when we're looking at the trends in the overall markets, engaging how nice of a trend that we're in, it's all about how much continuation we have above its old pivot high. So you can see every single old pivot high is now made. We're making new highs on the overall markets here on the ES, but every single high that we have a lack of continuation. We have a lack of continuation. We're still very much bullish, but you can see how this trend is being formed. Instead of having a very nice clear trend towards the upside and we're having nice continuation above the highs, what we're having is this very much slow trend that's building up to both sides. And now what we're waiting for is really the news event. So we'll see what happens and what shapes up with CPI coming into this morning. But I would like to see a big way either way, right, towards the upside. Most likely the market is going to push higher. So far it is building up. I could be wrong. But if the market does launch higher, the next levels are going to be right our all-time highs. So coming into today, it does seem like we might just had more news right before CPI. But for the ES coming into market open, key levels we're going to have marked out is now going to be this 6025. We're also going to mark out our previous day highs here as well, which is going to be our 6052. So coming into today, what we'll keep an eye out on is these two levels that I just mentioned. If you can get above your previous day highs with CPI, I'll actually check out what happened here as well with a potential kind of news event. Above your 6025, you can see continuation towards the upside. If we break back underneath, right, potential kind of rejection, or if we break back underneath our 6025, we can see some more continuation towards the downside. Let me actually just check my phone here. Had a pretty big candle on the ES and the major indices. All right, so the news that I'm seeing here is Trump mentioning the deal with China is done. We are getting a 55%, we're getting 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. And he also mentioned the relationship is excellent. So yeah, that basically was on the basically the China deal that we had. So key levels, we're having this right before CPI. So we'll see what kind of shapes up with CPI here, but we have another major news event. All the levels we're going to have marked out today is just going to be this high. We can actually just mark this out. 6052 along with our 6025 here towards the downside. So that's what we have for the ES coming into today. If we go into the SPY chart, what I personally would like to see here, if you look at this daily time frame is very much bullish. Ever since we had that gap up earlier in May. We've just been slowly now grinding back towards the upside. Next levels is going to be back towards your all-time highs, 610 to your 615. If CPI comes in nice today, I wouldn't be surprised if we could gravitate all the way back up and towards your 607 and potentially higher here for the spot. Key levels I'm going to have marked out coming into this morning is going to be the 601. 601 is going to be key for me. It is your Monday's high, also your Friday's high here as well. If we do want to hold and continue higher, it's going to be the hold of your 600 key psych level, and then we like to see it push back up and towards your previous day highs and above. This is going to be my key point of interest. If we do break underneath this level, we could see a little bit more downside back towards your 598 here on this name. So we'll keep an eye out on your 601 here on SPY. Let's go on to the NQ chart. So for the NQ chart, similar thing to the ES, I am still very much bullish here, right? Higher time frames on the daily chart. We have not shown any signs of weakness as of yet on the daily chart, neither on the lower time frames here as well. Key levels is this daily pivot high all the way back from earlier of June. Now, as long as we maintain above it, you can see we had a candle close. I would like to see, right, continuation on the daily time frame. If we break back underneath, right, the next level is going to be that key level of support. So for the NQ, if I turn back on the drawings here, as you can see, the key level for me is going to be this 21,880. So your 21,880 is key. You can see we have multiple touches around this general area. Yesterday, we broke underneath, but we ended up reclaiming your 21,880, and we pushed back up and towards your overnight highs. So for the NQ now coming into today, I have this level marked out, which is our last week's highs, our June 5th. Now I'm going to also mark out here, it's going to be your overnight highs from Monday. And we can also mark out our previous day highs here as well, which is our 21,973. So for the NQ, for me personally, what I like to see is a hold of your 2180. You can see in this case, there's been a lot of touches around this level. We've broken above it. We failed back underneath. We've reclaimed this level. The reason why there's so many touches here is that we have, right, it's been not as nice of a trend. Sorry. It hasn't been as nice of a trend. So for the overall markets, what we do want to see, as I mentioned, is continuation. We want clear trends with displacement. Every single trend, every single high so far has been just kind of popped and sold into. So for the overall markets, I would like to see it maintain this 21,880. As long as you maintain your 21,880 with bullish news here as well, we can see this nice continuation back towards the upside. So levels I'll have marked out today, 21,880, and then I'll also have marked out your overnight highs along with your previous day highs here as well, 21,970 here for the NQ. If we go into the QQQ chart, let me actually remove a few levels here as well. So for the QQQ, key levels for me is going to be this 533. Multiple touches, as you can see, now we're above our 533. This is the exact level I'd like to see hold for continuation towards the upside. If we end up failing back underneath your 533, next levels of support is going to be down towards your 530.50. So we can have this marked out 533 along with now your previous day highs and your overnight highs here as well. So we have our 533 and we also have this 535 here on the QQQ. As I mentioned, I am going to wait for CPI. That is going to be at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in about 20 minutes. So until then, I'm going to go over some charts and then we'll really develop our game plan after the CPI news release happens. So for Tesla coming into today, key levels I had marked out yesterday was our 314. So we had our 314 marked out. This is your pivot low. We'd like to see this level turn into support for a potential move back up and towards our 320, right? This is the original area that we dropped from, which was due to the Trump and Elon when they were talking. So this is the reason why it dropped. After it basically reconciled, now we expect it to push back up and towards this 320. So for yesterday, hold of this 314, I like to see it push back up and towards 320, along with the overall markets here as well that were just holding up. Tesla ended up pushing back higher, right? End up using your pre-market highs once we got above it as support for a continuation towards your 320. Now you can see we got above your 320, basically use this as a retest for a continuation back higher now. So for Tesla, the next levels that I do have on this chart, let's mark this out together, is going to be your 335, the level that we're currently at. So if you go into the higher time frames, this is the level that we broke out from originally. As you can see, we ended up breaking out earlier from March for a continuation towards the upside, multiple touches, as you can see right here. And we ended up breaking down a couple weeks ago. Once we got underneath this 336, that's when we end up having a bigger push towards the downside. So now for Tesla, we're coming right back. We're coming right towards the area that we broke down from 336. We're also now having a really nice recovery here. So for Tesla coming into today, what I would like to see is the reaction that we have off of your 336 along with your 335. If we're looking at its previous day's highs, it is fairly far away, back down in towards your 327. So coming into this morning, at least for any sort of long position, you would like to see consolidation and then look for a potential move up in towards your 335 and 336. What will be off the table for me is most likely your break above your pre-market highs and above. So this right here, I'm not too interested in, just because now we've had multiple days where we've gravitated higher, right? Breaking above your pre-market highs and immediate, unless you get an immediate retest, is something you could be looking for. But what you much rather look for is consolidation and basically the dip and rip for a continuation towards the upside. You do have to be careful here with it being 3 days in a row. We also do have CPI, so it very much well could be back down in towards your previous day highs by the time market does open. But key levels we can have marked out now is going to be your 327. Let me get rid of this. Previous day highs along with your higher time frame point of interest, 335. So these are the levels you're going to pay attention to on Tesla. As for Nvidia, coming into today here for Nvidia, you can see slowly building back towards the upside here as well. What we are creating is not so much a flat top break anymore. So your flat top break is a lot more bullish than this rising wedge. But what we have here on Nvidia is basically this rising wedge pattern. As you can see, we have multiple touches now towards the upside. What we would like to see is the break above your 144. So if you go on to the 15-minute time frame, key levels that I have marked out is your Monday's highs. We have multiple touches here. You can see another touch in the pre-market here as well. It's going to have to break above this 144, hold for any sort of continued push back towards the upside here on this name. We could look for now on Nvidia the break back above your last week's pivot high for a push higher, but I'd much rather see now, with also the touch here in the pre-market, the break above your 144 for continuation back towards the upside here. If we look on Apple, key levels I have coming into today is just the range that we have created. So nothing too much to talk about on this one. Talked about the bottom of the range being your 200 key psych, along with the top of the range being your 205. So far, we're just consolidating. I mentioned if you are looking to trade Apple, you want to look for the top of the range or the bounce at the bottom of the range. Right now, we're currently right inside the middle, right equilibrium. So there is potential trading opportunity, but you don't really want to pay attention to this one too much. As for Microsoft, so Microsoft retesting its previous all-time highs, as you can see currently. This is your key level for Microsoft. If you do want to see any sort of continuation, hold of your 468 for continuation. This is your previous all-time highs. If I do go on to the daily time frame, as you can see, hold of your previous all-time highs. If you can hold this level, continuation towards the upside, break back underneath, a potential reversal is in play if we do get back underneath your 468. As for Meta, this one's looking really good. So it's been consolidating the past few sessions. Meta 694. We also have your 703 as well. If we can break above your 703, we can see this nice continuation towards the upside and a hold of your 703. So it's been consolidating for the past 3 days. Break above, you like to see a push back towards the upside. As for the next charts, Google had some news yesterday. So Google finally broke back above our key pivot high. I am very bullish on this name here as well. If you look on the daily chart on Google, we end up building up these higher lows. So if I remove some of these drawings, this is originally when we had that news that dropped it towards the downside. Once we're able to get above it and hold, that was a sign that Google is most likely going to continue back towards the upside. Now you can see we broke back above your Thursday's May 22nd high with a strong daily candle close along with news here as well. So for Google, this is the key levels that we have, your 178. As long as it maintains your 178, you can expect it to continue towards the high. So for Google, if you go back onto the lower time frames here, ended up having a nice opening drive play, retested later into the session. Now what I like to see is the reclaim back above your 181. If you can reclaim back above your 181 and hold, we can see this nice pushback towards your previous day highs in this case. So that's what I have for Google. As for Amazon, Amazon ended up coming back to retest our 214 yesterday, which is a key pivot point here on the higher time frames. Another key level that we have is your 218. So I'm going to move a couple levels here. So the levels I have marked out here on AMD is our 122.50s. So our 122.50s was our higher time frame point of interest. As you can see, this was all the way back from May the 13th. We also had another touch earlier on Monday here as well. And now we're finally above your 122.50. So what I'd like to see is now this level be used as support. So your Monday's highs, I'd like to see now be used as support for continuation back towards your 124 and above, being your 124.50s. So this is your key level 122.50s here on AMD. As for Amazon, sorry, we already went over Amazon. Netflix, this one ended up dropping yesterday. Had some news. While the overall market was pushing higher, this one ended up dropping just a little bit. So now what you like to see is the reaction that we have off of your 112.11. If we can reclaim your 112.11, this is going to look good for continuation back towards the upside. If we reject off this level, potentially a head and shoulders can form on this name. So we will keep an eye out on this key level. Okay, we have about 10 minutes until red folder news event here, which is CPI. So most likely just going to wait for that. If you do have any charts or any questions, you guys can just drop in the chat and I will go over them for the next 10 minutes and just wait for CPI here. Damn, we even have bot comments in the live stream as well. That's crazy. That's actually so funny. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Followed your advice 2 days ago. I just started paper so I could practice first. Got red days at first, but managed to break even and push on the second. Good job, Jose. Keep it up. Your tutorials helped me a lot. I'm glad it helped. Please reset your screen. Morning, Jack. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Can't really see the screen. Oh, you should be able to see the screen now. Yesterday I was holding 5-minute orb nicely. When I entered, it went down. Yeah, like you have to be on the higher time frames. Lately, it's just a lot of the 1-minute setups. It's very difficult to hold on a 1-minute setup when it's just based off of the 5 and 15, especially since there isn't too much momentum. It's really just market structure, right? A lot of times you like to see momentum. You like to see nice moves, but it's just holding market structure. So it's as long as it makes higher lows, right? You're just gonna have to have a higher time frame thesis. Can you check out MVTS? Trump posted about China. Yes. So MVTS, I've been bullish on this one for a minute now. Daily time frame break. As you can see, key levels that we have, as long as it maintains your higher lows now, you can expect MVTS to continue towards the upside. So on this name, what you'll have marked out is your higher lows. So we have now, it's going to be your 790s. We had your 750s here as well. So for NVTS coming into today, what we would like to see is a hold above your Monday's highs. This is a very key level for me on NVTS. I personally would like to see a hold of your 790s for this continued push back up and towards your 870s and above. If we consolidate, potentially break underneath, we could see a little bit more of a pushback down in towards your 750s, but I would like to see, at least for bullish momentum, a hold of the 790 key level. You mentioned, let's see, it pulled out with 30%. Nice job, Kels. Massive, yeah, $8 support here as well. Amazon back into your 217. High from Italy. Let me go over a few names here as well. So for Palantir, this one's pushing back towards the highs. It's just going from range high to range low. The range low that we have established are 120. Range high we have in this case is back towards our 132. You can see now it's just back at your range high here on Palantir. So coming into today and moving forward for Palantir, we can just mark out this high. What I would like to see on Palantir for any sort of continuation back towards the upside is a lot more consolidation. If you do want to see a move higher, consolidate and then eventually daily time frame breakout for continuation towards the upside. Right? If you're looking at any sort of intraday momentum, right, you could look for the trade up in towards your 134, but you have to be cautious and you have to have a really good entry really close to your Monday's highs. You don't want to be buying close to your 133 because this is the top of the range. So if you are going to look to try and anticipate a move back towards the upside, you want a low risk entry off of your Monday's highs. As for HIMS, this one's just consolidating here on the daily chart. We talked about this. We're just going to draw the box here. 52 and this 58, a break above your 58 on the daily time frame. We can see a push higher. If not, we're just going to consolidate in this general area and build up this liquidity. We could see a lot more consolidation until the next couple of weeks, actually, since we are just going to be in a very tight level here for HIMS. Let's see. Let's see how about gold. Let me check out gold. As for gold, similar thing. It's just going to consolidate in between your key levels here. It's building up a lot of liquidity both sides. Once you do have a nice higher time frame breakout, I would like to see continuation back up and towards your all-time highs on this one. Key levels for me right now, as you can see, we have multiple touches, is our 33.47. Multiple touches on this level. If you can reclaim, we can see a push higher. If you reject off this level, we're just going to see, right, a very small rejection. Most likely, we're going to reclaim back above. Let's see, LOY, MBTS, how about QQQ, NVIDIA, ARM? I just joined Traders Lab, but the next onboarding call windows do not suit me at all. What do I do next? You can message in the chat. So I guess you're not in Traders Lab as of yet because you haven't had your onboarding call, but you can message. I guess you're not in Circle as well. Send me a DM on Circle, or you can email Tony. So whoever your closer was, message them or your coach, and they will help you figure it out. So whoever you hopped on a call with. All right, for ARM, we are on the daily chart, as you can see here. So far, we are breaking towards the upside. What I would like to see, right, a couple daily candle close. Now the key level that we do have is going to be this 141. You can see multiple touches off your 141. Now what we like to see is the break above hold for continuation towards the upside. What you don't want to see is a break above, right, fake out, and we come back towards the downside. So we would like to see the break and hold above your Monday's highs here on ARM. All right, let me kind of scroll down here. Let's see, follow the news. Where do you follow the news? You can do Forex Factory. You can also look at Twitter for real updates, real-time updates. If you're looking for red folder news events, you can look at Forex Factory. Let me see. Thank you so much, TSLA. They're basically the exact same thing. Let me kind of scroll down. Should I calculate my win by per trade and daily win rate? I have second consecutive green days. It should be based off of multitude of factors. You can calculate based off win rate, but win rate doesn't equal profitability, because if you have a negative risk reward ratio, right, all it takes is just one trade, and one trade, you don't hold your you don't follow your rules, you don't hold your stop, and it could wipe out some of the gains. So it's your win rate in combination with your risk reward as well. Okay, let me go over a couple more names here, and then I will wait for CPI. As for Hood, I'm still very much bullish here on the higher time frames. I do expect it to slow down just a little bit after the news that we had. So for Hood, I'd just like to see a little bit more consolidation now, potentially even dip back down in towards our 6690s and then push back towards the upside here. So for Hood, at least intraday time frames, you're just going to mark out our news candle high and your news candle low being your 69. Let's see RTY. Let me just go over IWM. IWM, very bullish on this one here as well. Just based off the market structure, holding nicely above your Monday's highs. Now we're using this level as support. As long as we maintain above your 214, we like to see this continue push back up and towards your 215 and above. Do you share one-on-ones? No, I personally do not. Do you also analyze Bitcoin? Yeah, I can take a look at Bitcoin here. As for Bitcoin, so we reclaimed this key level. Yesterday, what I talked about was now it's just your higher time. If we go into the 1 hour chart, what I would like to see on Bitcoin is now just a hold of your 108,500. Your 108,500, once we end up reclaiming that level, as long as you maintain above this, I'd like to see this now push back up and towards your all-time highs here on Bitcoin. Let's see. Do you have volume requirements when you pick a ticker to day trade? A lot of them, you'll see if they have a hard time frame thesis. Volume's not one of my main confluences that I look like on intraday. I'll take a look at volume based off the higher time frames because that's a key indication. But intraday wise, if I am looking for setups, they're based off of the higher time frames that I choose in the pre-market, and then I'll look for the intraday price action to conform to my higher time frame thesis that I laid out. What do you mean when you say you're bullish? Are you holding Google when you say that, or do you mean the stock? I just say the stock is bullish. If I say something's bullish, that doesn't mean I'm in the position. Scroll down here. What pages do you follow on Twitter for info? I have a list of it. But the common ones, you can look at anyone that has a Bloomberg terminal. Anyone that has a Bloomberg terminal is the one that you want to follow. You can follow Zero Hedge. You can follow, there's a few other ones as well. All right, we have about 1 minute until CPI news release. As for AVGO, so yeah, AVGO had earnings a couple days, last week. Now you can see we end up gravitating towards your earnings low. So far we are holding your earnings low. So that's going to be key, as I mentioned. If we reject off your earnings low, continuation towards the downside. If we're able to reclaim back above your 245, we can see this push back towards your 250. Hood, are you very much bullish? You mean you're sweet? Yeah, Hood, I have a lot of long-term on Hood. I don't have any intraday positions, but I have a decent amount of shares long-term. Trading view, yes. Just dropped you a DM on Circle. Thanks in advance. Okay. All right, let's wait for CPI news release that is coming out as I speak. Let me actually just pull this back up. So yeah, so far market is popping as expected. Higher time frame is bullish. Now let's see if we can get a potential kind of blow off the top move. All right, so for CPI, as you can see right here, we just had our CPI news release. Previous 0.2, forecasted 0.3, came in right well underneath. So you can see month over month 0.1, year over year. If we look at the core CPI, this one's the important one, 0.1, forecasted 0.3. If we go now onto the charts, right, this is really good for the market. So now you can see for the QQQ and the SPY, right, we're expecting this to continue towards where most likely your all-time high. So now with the CPI, now with this news event here as well, what we would like to see on the overall markets is really the next levels, in this case, is going to be your all-time highs. So if we go on to, let me actually, All right, so for the CPI, sorry, I had to delete that. So for SPY, the key levels that we're gonna have marked out is gonna be your previous day highs. If you go into the QQQ, similar, it's gonna be your previous day highs. But these levels most likely are not gonna be used now just because we had very bullish numbers. And I don't think, unless we can come down and retest in the pre-market, right, this will be a good opportunity. By the time market opens, we're most likely going to be close to this 537. So what we'll be looking for today is any sort of intraday setup or any sort of pullback close to your previous day highs for this continuation towards your all-time highs. If you go into the QQQ, the levels that we have marked out now is going to be this 538 along with this 540s. If you go into the SPY chart, key levels that we're going to have marked out is going to be this level right here, which is our 610. That is fairly far away, so we can mark out our 607 here for SPY. Now let's go back onto lower time frames. What I would like to see here on SPY is consolidation. So we had our news candle high and low. Your level of support is going to be your pre-market pivot point along with your previous day highs. If we can get this dip down in towards your 603, this would be really solid for a continued push towards the upside. If we just consolidate here, coming into market open, we can look for the reclaim and trade back up and towards your pre-market highs here and above. So for the SPY now, so we had bullish news, higher time frames also bullish as well. Now you just be waiting for, at least intraday wise, right, any sort of kind of pullback here on the SPY and Qs close to your previous day highs in this case. As for some tech names, we'll take a look at some names here now with the CPI news release. For Tesla, key levels that we have is your 335. What I would like to see now, break above your 335 hold for continuation towards the upside. As for NVIDIA, this one's looking really good here as well now with the CPI news release, a reclaim and hold back above your 144 for this continuation back towards the upside here on this name. As for Apple, not too much to talk about on this one. Microsoft now holding your previous all-time highs. Now we'd like to see a pushback towards your 473. As for Meta, this one looks really good here as well. So if we can get the Meta retest off our 703, I like to see the 703 hold for this continuation back towards the upside. And then Google, so far reclaiming your 180.70s. I like to see a hold of this for a continuation back up and towards your 182 and above. As for Amazon, the key level in Amazon is going to be this 217.50. 217.50 is the level I like to see hold for continuation. So we're going to have to use your previous day highs now along with intraday levels. So if the market doesn't come back down in towards your previous day highs, we're going to have to mark out intraday levels. Intraday levels just being right, your pre-market highs, pre-market lows, and we should also look for right any opening ranges that we do have. And then for AMD, this one looks really good on the higher time frames. Now let's see if we can have some nice clear trends coming to today. I do expect after this big pop, the first kind of 15 to 30 minutes, a potential pullback or consolidation. So don't be overly aggressive right off the bat, right? The markets are very bullish. We have clear targets towards the upside, but I would expect a little bit of consolidation for the first 15 to 30 minutes. If we do get a pullback, that's great. If we just push higher, don't look to chase price. If markets just launch higher towards the upside, wait for a pullback or any form of consolidation on the overall market. So for AMD, this one, I'd like to see a hold of your 123.80. As for Netflix, not too much to talk about on this name. So really now on the Qs, SPY and Qs, as I mentioned, right, I've been talking about all-time highs for a while now. So now, right, if we go onto the daily chart, let's just look at this one more time. Right, if we look at this daily chart and we remove all these drawings, you can see we're very close to all-time highs. Now we're about 5 points away from all-time highs. If we look at the SPY, we're very close to highs here as well. We're about 5 points as well, back up and towards your high that we created earlier from February. So the Qs is a little bit closer to all-time highs. SPY's lagging behind just a little bit, but overall market, as long as it maintains key levels, that's the level we can see it gravitate towards. So those are the levels we have coming into today on the SPY and Qs along with the major tech names here as well. We'll see what shapes up. There's a lot of things that can happen before market open. So Right now, we do have about one more hour until market does open. So if it pushes higher already up and towards your 538, as I mentioned, you want to wait for any form of pullback or consolidation to get in. You don't want to chase price right off the bat. Okay. As for IWM, yeah, the exact level, Monday's highs, nice push higher. Next levels on IWM is going to be 218 and above. Key levels above that is going to be your 220. So IWM 218.39 is going to be your key level. All right, I am most likely going to call it. I'll go over a couple more tickers here. Actually, for TSM, similar thing. All-time highs is in play. We do have this gap fill above this one, along with a bunch of other semiconductors. Very bullish towards the upside. Key levels that we can have marked out are 215 along with their 220. Now what you like to see is a hold above your 215 for continuation towards your 217 here towards the upside. So I am going to get ready for market open here now. As for the overall markets, you guys already know my game plan, at least for the higher time frames, right? The game plan is fairly clear. If you're looking for intraday setups, you're going to have to be a little bit more patient, wait for the reaction around your previous day highs, or wait for the first 15 to 30 minutes to develop. Don't be overly aggressive, right? I am very bullish, but that doesn't mean you can just blindly buy, right? Long terms are looking really good. If you have any sort of intraday positions, if you're looking for any sort of intraday positions now, you're going to wait for, right, the first 15 to 30 minutes to develop and to see if you can get a good entry. Okay, that is going to be it for me today. I'm going to get ready for market open. We do have a free watch list below if you guys haven't joined that already. We'll see what kind of shapes up. I do expect the markets, keep saying the same thing over and over again. But yeah, tomorrow we do have PPI. But for the overall markets, next clear shot 540 here on the Qs, and then SPY, we have levels up and towards 607 along with 610. So yeah, that's going to be it for me today. If you guys did enjoy that, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like and sub. And I will see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right, take care, everyone.